Well, hello everyone. Welcome to my review of Jumanji, the next level. Not really. We'll get to that later. Now, all the original cast is back. The Rock is there, or Dwayne Johnson if you want to call it. Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, you have Jack Black, Nick Jonas is also back, and we have three new characters. We have Danny DeVito's character, we have Danny Glover's character, and we have Aquafina. So all amazing actors. If you watch the trailers, you know that there's a switcheroo. It's when they basically go back into the game, and Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart, they're actually playing Danny DeVito's and Danny Glover's, their characters, and that's actually the positive of the movie. And the way they don't just play it, they actually do a really, really good job of becoming those characters. And I think it was refreshing to see something different from The Rock, or I'm so used to calling him that, Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart, because it allowed them to actually kind of test their kind of acting abilities and do something different. And it's actually really fun, and there were some moments where, like, a really heart-touching moment later in the movie, and it's all well done. As far as the movie itself, it was fun. I don't think this is a good movie, though, as a movie. You see, it's hard to say when the movie is fun and then say, oh, but it's also not. It has a lot of good things in it. You will be smiling throughout the movie. But at the same time, what Welcome to the Jungle brought was there was a sense of discovery for these characters. The good thing about that was that they were trying to find themselves. The game allowed them to explore themselves, and they were able to kind of reach new heights, and when they come out of the game, they have this sense of discovery. Here, the way the movie starts, it actually starts on a really high note. It's a beautiful setup, and you think that it's gonna go, and as the movie is going, you're waiting for that punch, you're waiting for that surprise. It never gives you that. Now, first of all, I'm gonna say the acting, though, everyone does really good. There are quite a few surprises, and between, like, the characters switching and all, and it's very well done. Each of the characters, they play the other character actually really, really well. I do think some of the original cast is wasted. Overall, the characters do come to life, and they're there for a reason. And the plot is laid out really well. But toward the second and the third act, that's when things start to kind of fizzle out. You see, Jumanji, it's a game. With the first one and with Welcome to the Jungle, you felt there were stakes. Really high stakes, especially with the first one. The second one, it was very different, but it still had stakes of its own. The bad guy in Welcome to the Jungle, everybody was like, well, he's okay, he's kind of pushing it. I actually thought, for a bad guy in a video game, he was playing the character really well, and it was very well portrayed. And that is something, when you call a movie the next level, you want to push those boundaries. This movie actually feels less of a video game. With the Welcome to the Jungle, you actually felt they were in this different world. Here, that's one of the negatives, that it actually never feels like that. Plus, the bad guy in this movie did not work for me. At the start, they actually set up, and that's why I said the first act and the way everything is set up, and you think there will be surprises, but by the end, all those things do not come together well. Even the stakes, while they're on this adventure, never really get to the point where it's like, oh, this is dangerous. What's gonna happen? There's no sense of real surprise. Only two characters, I feel like, in this movie actually come to this conclusion, and there's this theme that you learn from it. But other than that, even with the original characters coming back, what they set up at the start, it never really comes to this big conclusion. Kind of just ends. And I hope it went there. I hope the stakes were higher. That is my biggest problem with the movie. And it's surprising because at the same time, throughout the movie, I was actually enjoying myself. Yeah, I did not laugh hard. I think the Welcome to the Jungle I actually enjoyed and laughed a lot more. And we all know the classic Jumanji and how good that was. Obviously, this cannot be even compared to that one. Heck, this can't be even compared to Welcome to the Jungle. But at the same time, it is a good movie. It's a good time. But the plot is very thin. It really doesn't go anywhere. It sets up a lot of things. It tries to at points with some of the characters and how they're behaving, and with the switcheroos there could have been risks taken. There could have been more surprises because they're in a game, and the danger could have been more real. All of these things, it's like the movie started really strong, and it just, then they were like, okay, we don't want to take risk, and it just kind of just fizzled out. Now, it's a hard movie to rate because of that. Because of I keep saying that it's fun, but at the same time I keep saying that the plot wasn't there. But I do feel like what keeps the movie together, even though the characters don't have the conclusions or don't get the conclusions the way that I felt the movie should have given to them, or the dangers the game provided were not really danger. You never felt that there is this lurking danger somewhere, and the bad guy wasn't there. It never really scared me, even though the movie tries to show you that this character is dangerous. It actually never comes to it. They're video game characters. They kind of say, oh, they have these weaknesses and they have these strengths and weaknesses. That doesn't really pan out. They don't play around with that. So in the end, I do feel like the movie just played it too safe. I mean, I understand you want to make a sequel and you want to keep the same audience as the first, but remember, the second one, the first one, the original came out long ago. Even the second one had better stakes and a better character development throughout, and it had a really nice and a really touching conclusion. By playing it too safe, it never reaches that point. So while the movie, you do feel good while you're watching it, you're having a fun time, definitely you can take your family, if you have children, or even just as a date movie, it works too. Go ahead and watch it. You will have a good time. You can definitely go to theaters and watch it, but don't expect a good plot from it. With all that in mind, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. And as a rating, I know 6 out of 10, it sounds bad. Go see it. Definitely go see it. But for the next one, which I know they'll be making, think it's already planned. I hope they have some real stakes. They go back to the original style. Even if they don't want to make like what the first one was, with literally the whole city coming apart, but at least have more than what they gave us in this. So yeah, there's that. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought of the movie. If you agree with me, if not, please let me know. I would say thanks for watching this review, and I will see you all later. Take care.